right.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. And while we kind of do the intro here, and welcome back to day 2 of the Age Strong Experience. If you guys want to put in the comments what your action item was, one thing you learned yesterday, a takeaway, was it valuable, not valuable, feedback, whatever you want to say, that would be awesome. Whether you joined us live yesterday or watched the replay, we're just really glad that you're here. Before we move into today's content, which is going to be all about stability and the stability switch, and specifically how that pertains to energy as we get older, let's just take a moment to review kind of what we covered on day 1, because stability builds off of day 1, which is when we introduced you guys to what we call the strength switch. And that's where we talked about something that I think surprises a lot of people. Getting older and aging and slowing down is just not inevitable. And muscle and bone loss are 2 of the biggest hidden reasons that our energy starts to decline and starts to drain kind of that vitality and resilience. So we discussed how strength supports our long-term independence, bone and muscle health, metabolic stability, confidence in our movement, all that kind of stuff. And we also emphasized that the strength switch in particular is not about like extreme workouts or going to the gym or starting to lift, heavy weights or doing big new like workout routines and that kind of thing. It's way, way, way more about staying strong so you stay capable. So things like getting up off of the floor, playing with your grandkids, carrying groceries, traveling, saying yes to coffee dates and card parties and Bible study and all of that stuff is just an easy yes. That's really the main point of all of that. It's so that you can move through your life just without hesitation. Strength is the foundation of aging strong and maintaining energy, but it's actually just the first switch. It's one of the first things to turn on, if you will, to age strong. And this brings up something that we want to repeat today. We kind of talked a lot about this yesterday, but women are not struggling with energy because of a lack of effort or because of a lack of information. They're primarily struggling because the advice that's been given or what used to work for us 20 years ago or 30 years ago just simply doesn't match the season of life anymore. It just, a lot of the advice that worked when we were in our 20s and 30s and 40s just doesn't work forever anymore. So if your energy has been slipping, even though you feel like you're sleeping well, you're eating pretty good, you're trying to make sure that you're hydrated, you're trying to regulate your stress, you're taking what you think are good supplements or doing all of the right things, you're not imagining it. I think a lot of people, that's why we've had so much interest in this workshop this time around and why we have so many conversations when I was in private practice and then now at our wellness center, because I think a lot of people just reach a point where no matter what they do, they're waking up already feeling behind and already just feeling exhausted at the beginning of the day. Their stamina just isn't what it used to be. Recovery takes longer if they injure themselves, or if we have to go through a surgery of any kind, or if we just overdo it on a weekend, we just don't bounce back nearly as quickly as we should. And that just really takes a toll on our confidence and the confidence in our bodies. And quite honestly, the confidence in like, if I'm like this now, what's it going to be like in 5 years or 10 years, right? And the most frustrating part is that we're all trying, feeling better or aren't feeling as good as we possibly could be. And here's where most wellness advice gets wrong, you guys. Low energy is very, very rarely a motivation problem or a lack of knowledge problem. For many women, declining energy is actually the very earliest signal or sign that deeper systems in our body need attention. Different systems need attention. It's a sign that there's just needs a different kind of support, that something is missing. Not more discipline, not more effort, not another workout routine or the perfect diet or another, the best next supplement or anything like that. Just the right support in the right order. And that's exactly why we created this particular experience in this workshop and why we're teaching this as a system, as the 4 switches. Because when we talk about energy in this workshop, we're not talking about hustle or productivity or doing more. We're talking about the energy to move confidently, the stamina to stay involved and engaged with the people that you love, the resilience to recover well, the nuts and bolts and the foundation for your body to rebuild and repair, and the vitality and the energy and the desire to remain independent and saying yes to what makes your life fulfilled. Most other wellness programs focus on isolated habits, daily to-dos, or the perfect morning routine or the perfect evening routine. Things like exercise and nutrition and sleep and the perfect, plating up the perfect meal and stress management. And those things are all really, really, really important. Don't get me wrong, they are very important. And we cover all of those. We talked about some of those yesterday in the strength switch, but they don't address how the body actually changes as we age. Because aging well and aging strong requires a system, not just random tips, and certainly not random generic tips that are meant to serve every body when every single one of us is an individual with our own personalized challenges, our own history, and our own individualized goals and outcomes that we want to see in our lives. And that's why we teach this framework and this workshop, and the reason that we frame aging strong around our 4-switch system. It's a simple, structured approach that supports the 4 outcomes, not inputs like exercise, diet, whether or not we're getting enough protein, all of those. We support the 4 outcomes that matter the most as we age, which is strength, stability, vitality, and recovery. And that's what these 4 days are. So yesterday we addressed the first one, which is strength. If you haven't watched it yet, go back and watch it. And today we're going to move into the second switch, stability. And here's something that we see all the time, a conversation that we have a lot, is women may still be relatively strong, or they seemingly are doing all the right things and really taking care of themselves, and they're doing the Pilates classes and they're going to active generations, and they're they're working with a personal trainer, or they've just finished physical therapy, whatever. But she doesn't feel steady. And that's what today is about. Today is about making strength usable, because without balance and steady and stability, strength is very difficult to tap into. And what that means when somebody doesn't feel steady, we hesitate when we're stepping off of a curb, or when we come up to that heave in the concrete as on a walk. We grip railing tightly when we're going upstairs or traversing the bleachers. We avoid uneven ground at all costs. We don't go to the park because there might be a pothole that we can't see or that we can't navigate, and we have a fear of falling. You start to calculate how low a chair is before you sit down, or before you choose that one in a restaurant, right? Or like we talked about yesterday, you stop going to your daughter's house because the toilet's really low in her house. There's no grab bar, things like that. You know what happens when you don't feel steady? Your nervous system goes on alert. You become in a sympathetic fight or flight mode, even if it's low level. When your nervous system is on alert, you use way more energy. Instability drains your stamina. It creates tension in the body, and it creates subtle fear. And over time, it quietly starts to shrink your world and drain your energy stores. So today, we're going to be talking about why balance, physical balance, and nervous system health are deeply and interconnected and tied directly to energy. How instability, or that feeling of being unstable, increases your fatigue. Why calm control and confidence in your movement actually conserves your energy. And then simple ways to support steadiness safely. Because aging strong isn't just about being strong and powerful. It's about being steady so that strength is usable. Because strength without stability is still uncertain. But strength with stability, that's confidence and capability, which leads to way more choices and freedom, which is the ultimate definition of aging strong and aging well. So today, as we move into the stability switch, I want you to reflect on something. Just from your own perspective, where you're at right now in your life, do you feel steady? Do you, not just strong, but steady? Do you have that kind of underlying in the back of your mind concern about doing certain things because it might not be safe, it might throw you, you might hurt yourself? And if there's even a little hesitation in your answer, that's information, guys. It's not failure, it's information, because once we're aware of it, we can move into doing something about it. So let's build on yesterday's strength foundation and talk about stability.